How to review your criminal record. If you've ever been arrested or convicted of a crime, it's a good idea to request a copy of your criminal history record, so that you can examine exactly what it contains. There are various government agencies that handle arrest and court records. In light of that, there's a chance that mistakes may have been made in entering information into these reports. Catching these mistakes as soon as possible could save you from missing out on some chances to better your life, particularly regarding employment opportunities. This article will give you guidance in obtaining your criminal history record and correcting any mistakes. Part 1: Obtaining the report. 1. Make a list of all criminal cases in which you've been a defendant. Write down as much information as you can recall about the charges, the proceedings, and the final disposition of the case. This will give you a base from which to work when reviewing your criminal record report. 2. Order your report, also called a rap sheet, directly from the FBI or from an FBI channeler. This report will not only list any federal case information, but also information reported to the FBI from the states. If you order directly from the FBI, the report fee is $18, and the wait time is approximately 11 to 13 weeks for processing, plus the time it takes the mail to reach you. FBI-approved channelers are companies authorized by the FBI to provide criminal history record reports. Although the fee is higher, around $40, you can get your report more quickly, 5 to 7 business days with standard shipping. 3. Contact the state identification bureaus. If you'd prefer to deal directly with the states in which you've been involved in a criminal matter, each state has an agency that is responsible for providing criminal record reports. This report will normally be limited to your history for the particular state. For a listing of each state's agency, you can check here. Expect to pay between $25 to $65 in state fees. 4. Complete the required form. The form for a criminal records request can usually be found online, either at the FBI or approved FBI channeler website, or at the State Identification Bureau website. Click here for a copy of the FBI form. The forms will request basic information about you, such as name, address, date of birth, country of citizenship, and country of residence, height, weight, hair, and eye color, reason for requesting the criminal history record, last 4 digits of your social security number. 5. Get fingerprinted. Whether dealing with the FBI or the states, you'll be required to submit your fingerprints when requesting a criminal record report. Fingerprinting can be obtained from your local police department, or from various sites in each state that are authorized to take your fingerprints by way of a live electronic scan. The scan method is considered more accurate, and your prints can be sent directly from the scanning office to the state criminal reporting agency and the FBI. A list of live scan fingerprinting locations for each state can be found here. You can normally book your fingerprinting appointment online. Anticipate spending approximately $50 for the electronic scan. However, this fee will likely also cover the report fee for the agency you're requesting the criminal report from. You'll need ID. Acceptable identification must be presented at the time you're fingerprinted. The ID must be issued by a federal, state, county, or municipal agency. It must be current. It must include a photo, your name, address, and date of birth. Examples of acceptable ID are a valid U.S. photo driver's license or a passport. 6. Bring the completed form with you to the electronic fingerprinting site. You can submit the form to the site personnel when you get fingerprinted. If you're dealing directly with the state agency, then you'd have to submit the form to the agency, together with the fingerprint card you received from the local police or other agency which took the fingerprints for you. Part 2: Reviewing the report. 1. Inspect all the information in the report in detail. Make a note of anything that doesn't seem right to you. Something as simple as the wrong middle initial of your name could cause problems, such as having someone else's criminal offense on your rap sheet. Some of the items contained in the report are state and FBI identification numbers, date of arrest, name under which you were arrested, and address given at the time of the arrest, date and location of the crime, arrest charges and prosecution charges. They may be different depending on any actions the prosecutor's office took after the arrest, court of prosecution and the court docket number, the number the court assigned your case, warrants issued, Disposition of the case, the final outcome in court, including the name of the charge, the section of the criminal code, and the level of offense, for example, a felony, which is the worst offense. Incarceration, probation and/or parole information, whether the case is sealed, not visible to the public. 2. Look for incomplete entries. For example, sometimes the record will show an arrest, without indicating how the case ended. The record may list the matter as no disposition reported. If your case was dismissed, or if you were convicted of a lesser charge, this needs to be reported. Leaving the incomplete entry as is could have a negative effect on your employment opportunities. 3. Make note of incorrect entries. Computers are only as good as the information entered into them. So a simple typo could have a dramatic effect on you. For example, in New York, a man's rap sheet listed him as having been convicted of murder. His actual crime was shoplifting. A clerk had entered a wrong number in citing the section of the law he'd been charged with. 4. Pay attention to double listings. Sometimes, information about one arrest will get split into 2 or more separate entries on your rap sheet. This kind of mistake makes your criminal record look longer and more serious than it is. 5. Be aware of open warrants. Sometimes warrants that aren't active, open, will be listed as open on your rap sheet. On the other hand, these warrants may actually be active, without your having been aware of it. Either way, you need to address this. 6. Check for cases that should be sealed but aren't. Sometimes a criminal matter is sealed by a judge after a trial, or sealed later after a formal request by you or your attorney. Some cases that may get sealed are juvenile convictions, some first-time drug convictions, or a case in which you were found not guilty. If a case is sealed, it doesn't mean it's gone. Rather, as mentioned above, it's no longer visible to the public on your rap sheet. If a case that was supposed to be sealed appears on your rap sheet, but isn't listed as sealed, someone made an error, and you need to act on this. This is especially important since the case could now be seen by a prospective employer. Part 3. Correcting the report. 1. Dispute your FBI record. The data contained in FBI criminal reports comes from local, state, and federal agencies. The FBI doesn't have the authority to modify any criminal history information on its own. Any correction of the FBI record has to come from the agency that supplied the information, such as a police department or court. Once the agency has corrected the report, it will automatically forward it to the FBI. The steps immediately below show you how to request corrections. 2. Rectify incomplete, incorrect, or double entry mistakes. To do this, you'll have to get a disposition slip for the case from the court where the case was heard. A disposition slip is an official court record of the case, and should contain correct information about what happened in your case. To get a disposition slip, contact the clerk in the court where your case was heard. Your rap sheet should indicate the name of the court under the heading Court Case Information. Give the clerk your name, including any aliases used in the case, the date of your arrest, and the docket number under which your case is filed. All this information should be on the rap sheet. Send the original disposition slip and a record review and statement of challenge form to your state criminal identification bureau. The form should have been included with your criminal history record report. Be sure the disposition slip is the original, with the raised court seal. Include in your statement of challenge when and where you saw your criminal record, your state identification number, which should be listed on your rap sheet, your fingerprint card, if you have it, a clear explanation of the mistake you believe was made, and how you believe it should be corrected. 3. Fix warrant errors. You could try calling the clerk at the government agency that issued the warrant, such as a police department or court, to see if you can resolve the issue. It's possible the warrant may no longer be active, but remains on the books due to a clerical error. If the clerk agrees that the warrant was returned, made inactive, see if he or she will notify your state criminal identification bureau. If you get no satisfaction, or if for some reason the warrant really is active, you might be better off having an attorney handle this for you, especially considering the fact that an open warrant can lead to your arrest. 4. Correct the sealing status. To determine why your case isn't listed as sealed, try the following approach. Visit the clerk's office of the court where your case was heard. Tell the clerk that you want to know whether the court has your case listed as sealed. If the clerk says yes, ask him or her for a written disposition of the case. Make sure that the disposition has a stamp that says that the case is sealed. Mail it, together with a record review and statement of challenge, referenced above, to your state criminal identification bureau. If the clerk says the case isn't listed as sealed, ask him or her if the case has a do not seal order. If it does, you probably won't be able to get it sealed, unless the do not seal order is temporary, which the clerk can tell you. If there isn't a do not seal order, ask the clerk to provide you with information on what you need to do to get the case sealed. 5. Follow up on the progress of the report corrections. Corrections to your record should take a few weeks. If you don't receive anything in that time frame, contact your state criminal identification bureau to find out the status. When your record has been corrected, the Identification Bureau should send you a letter and a new copy of the rap sheet, and return your disposition slips to you. The Bureau should also send the corrected report to the FBI. Tips. When mailing anything to a government agency, send it certified mail, return receipt requested, so you have proof that you sent the documents. If you're requesting an FBI criminal report for use by your attorney, you must provide a written request on your attorney's letterhead. The written request must include your signature as well as your attorney's signature, and it must indicate that the FBI criminal report information results are to be released to your attorney. Note that some states may require you to use the live scan fingerprint method. Some fingerprinting sites may require a second form of ID, such as credit card, bank statement, electric bill, birth or marriage certificate, school photo ID, or vehicle registration or title. Check with the site in advance to see if they require this. If you need to correct more than one mistake on your criminal history record, you'll need a separate disposition slip for each mistake you want addressed. If you think you'll need a copy of the disposition slip in the future, make a photocopy before you mail the original to the FBI, and keep the photocopy for your records. If for some reason you didn't receive the record review and statement of challenge form, you can simply write a letter to your state criminal identification bureau explaining the recording error. Include the original disposition slip. If a warrant listed on your rap sheet is for failure to appear in court, it would be helpful to ask the clerk for a printout of court appearances for your case. Regarding correction of a sealing error, if your case was dismissed before it reached the court, you may have to get proof that the prosecutor, or district attorney, depending on your state, declined to prosecute. The clerk should be able to give you information on how to get this proof. These mistakes can be difficult to correct, so you may need an attorney's assistance.